Hi, come on into the Bruce Channel. I'm Bruce.
Yep. Hard to believe, but that was our inaugural show 3 years ago. We debuted on the Sunday preceding Thanksgiving. The date is different, of course. Dates slide. Thanksgiving is always the fourth Thursday in November, so that year it was the 27th. This year, Thanksgiving is the second earliest it can ever be, on the 23rd. Next year, on the 22nd, it will be as early as it can be, which should make retailers happy. You know, some years they complain sales are off because of the shorter holiday season. And of course, some years they may complain with justification that the weather kept shoppers away, but short season, that's malarkey. It may be used to make some sense, but I'm referring back to those days of purity and naivete when newspapers would print something like just 17 shopping days until Christmas. Say that phrase to a millennial and they'll get it completely wrong. They'll do the math. They don't recall when stores were not open on Sundays. So newspapers were actually performing a sort of service by subtracting the unshopping days. But today, if it's December 12th, it's 13 shopping days, period. And the stores themselves prove the lie of short season, long season. They prove it when they put their holiday things out in September. I hate to be cynical, but how else to view things? Season of peace? More like a season of greed. All right, last week I made a metaphor. Bill Cosby, the Grand Marshal of a parade. My phone's still ringing with new alerts. Really, you've seen it. It's almost every day a new one or two, and it's discouraging. People you liked or whose work you used to like. Making the point they come in all shapes, sizes, colors, political persuasion. I'm pretty sure, inasmuch as this is pre-recorded, it won't be current, Two of the newest ones this week, Al Franken, Sylvester Stallone. And those guys are as different as I think possibly any two guys can be. For the record, Franken did apologize instead of denying. Well, none of the difference. He used to be a comedian and a satirist, so anyway, I never really much cared for his humor. Meanwhile, Congress is now setting up training and policy for staffers. It's been decades ago, but when I was in corporate, every year HR would review policies and go over the policies with everyone, making sure everyone understood what would constitute sexual harassment. And this is important. It's not that I might make an off-color joke. It's that even I make a joke, even if not with malice, if someone was offended by hearing it, then that very well might constitute sexual harassment. And that was decades ago. Several years before Clarence Thomas and Anita Hill brought it to the forefront of our national consciousness. And only now Congress is going to teach what's allowable?
Hey, let me tell you about my book, Shrink. Or wait, I can let others do it.
Welcome back. Remember, you can write to us at the Bruce Channel, and you can see all of our previous shows, at tinyurl.com/Bruce Channel and at our Facebook page. All right, we've got some serious issues. There is an existential threat to the United States of America. I've spoken before about confirmation bias. We are all prone to fall prey to it. It's when you hear or read something that you agree with and you accept it, and conversely, you reject things that don't support what you already believe, and that's dangerous. If you reject it even when presented with real solid evidence to the contrary, then we are going to be poorer for it. On last week's Meet the Press, the panelists spoke of confirmation bias. The context was in relation to Roy Moore in Alabama. His supporters want to believe that the Washington Post has conjured these people out of thin air, paid them to make these allegations. Presenting the facts to them doesn't seem to make a difference. They still don't believe it. Now, if you want to vote for them, if you believe it and vote for them, that's one thing, but they don't even believe it. Notwithstanding the fact that these 4 women, they were telling their friends about it at the time. In the case of the then 14-year-old, she explained that she and her mother were at the courthouse for a custody hearing, and yeah, the court records back that up. In other words, for her to be a part of this, she would have had to start plotting 38 years ago to be in on a conspiracy. So in my opinion, confirmation bias poses a very real existential threat. We will either grow through this, and I'm not optimistic. After all, although all presidents talk about America's greatness and the fact that it will always be the greatest, history has shown us that whatever the leading country was at any time in history, some other country has eclipsed it. Right now, the Chinese are single-minded in their quest. And they view, China's success as a success for every Chinese citizen. We're too busy hating and pointing fingers, building walls, some with more wealth than is beyond measure, and then smirking about it, saying, I got mine, what about you, loser? We hurt each other at our own peril. All right, we're back. Let's have some fun. I almost said constantly. No, I'm not constantly, but several times a week, frequently, I am amazed by what's available on YouTube. Things both widely known and things more esoteric. It's been a big boon to me as a music teacher. If a student is trying to learn a piece and isn't sure what it should sound like, there's YouTube. Almost always something is there. That's what it should sound like. And sometimes there are neat little things to reveal to them. Like there's a lovely piece called Melody in F by Anton Rubinstein. It's not inordinately difficult. If a student is serious about their lessons, they can probably take it on somewhere between the 2nd and 3rd year. You likely know it, even if you never heard of Rubinstein or Melody in F. That's Rubinstein's Melody in F. And it was the basis for one of the best episodes of the Andy Griffith Show. Sunshine now makes all the flowers from sea. Joy hearing incense floats on the air. Snowdrops and primrose both
Spanish beauties again, please my
Well, here comes sweet springtime from, yeah. All right, so I can't show you the whole thing, but if you Google Welcome Sweet Springtime or Barney and the Choir or anything like that, you'll find it. All right, when I was a little kid, like everybody, we'd go visit aunts and uncles, and naturally we'd play with our cousins. I had an older cousin who was already collecting records. I wasn't yet. But he put on some records sometime, and this one time, he put on this record, and I laughed, and I laughed, and I laughed, and every time we visited, I'd ask him to put it on. Now, it is pretty obscure. You may not know it. For reasons unknown, I recalled it earlier this week, and I wonder if that's on YouTube. Sure enough.
Now we're doing 110, there certainly was a race. For a rambler to pass a caddy would be a big disgrace. The guy must have wanted to pass me out as he kept on tooting his horn. I'll show him that a Cadillac is not a car to scorn. Beep, 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 his horn went beep, beep, beep. Now we're doing 120 as fast as I could go. The rambler pulled alongside of me as if we're going slow. The fella rolled down his window and yelled for me to hear, "Hey buddy, how can I get this car out of second gear?"
Yeah, you can see the whole thing if you go to YouTube and put in beep beep. By the way, that's by the Playmates. That'll help you find it. The internet's ability to link related topics, which for me, I suspect myself of ADHD. My browsing sometimes resembles a pinball machine. Look, there's an old Volkswagen commercial. Dustin Hoffman. Oh wow, Dustin Hoffman. How tall is he? How small is he? Really? He looked so much taller when he played Hook. Hook. Oh, that's the line of a song lyric that pulls you in. If you have a good hook, you might have a hit. See? I can't retrace how I got there. But you won't believe what I found. You won't believe what I found. We all know this. Well, did you know? I didn't, you may. Did you know that song that we're familiar with has lyrics? And they were only revealed on one episode. Take a look, take a look.
Happy birthday for me!
Yeah, honey, we forgot your birthday. We had this thing planned for weeks.
Oh,
We
you
just couldn't get a hold of you. We ran out of the house. Nobody could find you.
Oh, no!
And I got a wonderful present for you. You want to hear it?
Hear it?
I love Lucy and she loves me. We're as happy as two can be. Sometimes we quarrel, but then how we love making up again. Lucy kisses like no one can. She's my missus and I'm her man. And life is heaven, you see. 'Cause I love Lucy, yes, I love Lucy. And Lucy loves me. Everybody
Who knew? All right. Which reminds me, I have shown this before, but maybe you missed it. And if you didn't, it might be worth another look. First, the familiar. All right, but coming up, this was the end of the pilot episode. They didn't use it. Producers pulled it, and it was never seen on television.
I've got a flair for women everywhere. Bonanza! Bonanza! Aye, aye, aye! And when I call on any gal at all, she's gonna welcome me.
Can't sleep.
I'm not afraid of any pretty maid. Bonanza! Bonanza! When I give a kiss to any pretty miss, she'll learn a lot from me. 1 for 4, 4 for 1. This we guarantee. We got a right to pick a little fight. Bonanza! Bonanza! If anyone fights any one of us, he's got to fight with me.
All right, what strikes me watching it this time, given current events, the producers pulled it from airing from the pilot for reasons unknown. Maybe the fact that they really couldn't sing so well was it. But today, it would be a non-starter. If you think about it, there seems to be more than just a little bit of sexual aggression in those lyrics. And given the times, it couldn't fly. All right, so you may recall, I've spoken for 1.5 years already about the movie Obamaland. Actually, the full title is Obamaland Part 1, The Rise of the Trumpublicans. Now, I'm the narrator. I'm the first person you see. Of course, you haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. But I did mention that it was being shown a couple weeks ago at the American Film Mart in Santa Monica. And that's where the business end of movie making is done. That's where deals are made. So I heard from the producer. And he said it was well received and that a distribution deal may be on the horizon. One can hope. You can read about it. Google Obamaland and Variety. Yeah, the big show business magazine. They had a write-up. And since they put it on the page, I don't think I'm revealing anything if I tell you a little bit. Set in the year 2040, the film explores the idea of an alternate future in which President Donald Trump, Vice President Mike Pence, and Speaker of the House Paul Ryan tragically fell from Trump Tower before Inauguration Day and created a scenario in which Barack Obama declares himself president for life and remains president for another 2 decades. And I've told you that I shot a commercial in August for which I'd cut my hair. Well, my understanding is it's being shown on a few national airings here and there. I haven't seen it. I don't know which programs, but my understanding is also that it's being shown in local markets, on local stations. I haven't seen that either, but I did finally locate it online.
Prescription cost.
I didn't think I could get excited about prescription drug coverage, but I did.
So if you'd like to see the whole thing, do a Google for Medicare Advantage 2017, or you might go to ispot.tv/ad. Now you may see several of them. This is the first frame of the one that I'm in. All right, as far as the upcoming week, well, we all know that Thursday is Thanksgiving, but did you know Thursday is also Fibonacci Day? Yeah. We honor what some consider to be the greatest mathematician of the Middle Ages, an Italian who introduced the Fibonacci sequence to the world sometime around 1202. That's a long time ago. All right, now I have decried the whole concept of Black Friday, but someone thought this up for Friday, Buy Nothing Day. Include me in. On the other hand, Saturday is Small Business Saturday. That's worth our attention. Of course, Saturday is also Rivalry Day, when the colleges square off against their traditional rivals, USC against UCLA, Auburn hates Alabama, and yeah, my Buckeyes going to take on that school up north. So, however you spend your week, if you celebrate Fibonacci, and turkey or Buy Nothing Day. I do hope your upcoming week is the best one you've ever had.